Did you know that you wanted to work for the federal government of all things?
Whoa.
She's a Fed.
I'm not.
I didn't tell you.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, there's Fed.
I'll be right back, you guys. Okay, it's rolling. We're faded in, and we are here once again at the What's Your Ness podcast. I'm Spenny, got Alexander the Great, my co-host over here. And Alex, we have a guest today. Who's our guest?
Our guest today is somebody very dear to my heart. I've known her all of her life, and she's known me most of mine. This is mi prima, Vanessa.
Hello.
And in case anyone out there doesn't know, prima is cousin in Espanol.
Female
bro,
cousin.
Is that me?
What? Oh no! Don't do that. Oh God.
No.
You're unplugging things now.
There's like this buzzing. He's like,
Yeah. No, it might just be. It might. Oh, now you've done it.
No, that's a Hummer.
You gotta twist it. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the humming sound is.
We're good. We'll talk over it. Okay.
I think it's pretty. I think I got it down a little bit actually.
sorry, I only do top quality audio, so.
Well, you came to the wrong basement.
This is my brand. So.
Yeah.
This isn't on brand for you?
No, I might have to leave because I can't be associated with anything that's not
Top tier.
Well,
yeah.
We'll put a noise reducer on it and post
I
it,
also
so it won't be a
wanted the
problem.
green M&Ms, and I see 0 M&Ms here waiting for me.
Oh no! You didn't get the M&Ms?
No.
We mailed them to you.
To my house in DC.
Yes,
Oh.
we thought you wanted them as soon as possible. We overnighted them. Oh my goodness, we could have just kept the M&Ms here.
Oh yeah.
You know how long it took me to sort those?
Oh my god. Because you know the other ones make me bloated, so I can only have the green M&Ms, just like Mariah Carey.
That sounds about right. So, Vanessa, we appreciate you coming all the way from DC for this episode, and we wanted to know, what's your Ness?
My Ness is that I am very talkative. I have a lot of talkativeness in me. And it's hilarious because I used to be so quiet as a child, and now you can't get me to shut up.
I agree.
And thank you for being so talkative, because while you were talking, I don't know if you noticed, I moved some cables around and got rid of that electronic interference we were having with the audio, so now it is up to your talkative standards.
Okay, Spinny, let's do the deaf and let's get into this.
Do the deaf. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, okay. Boom. Talkativeness. According to Google AI, talkativeness is the quality of being talkative. Oh, I couldn't have figured that one out. Thank you,
That's
Google AI.
crazy, bro.
Meaning a tendency to talk a great deal. It could be seen as a positive trait indicating a friendly and outgoing personality, but excessive talkativeness can be perceived as annoying or disrespectful. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It depends how many drinks I've had, because I think I'm hilarious. I'm Dave Chappelle whenever I've had a few drinks, but
Only a few?
yeah, but apparently not everyone agrees with that.
Oh, yeah. That seems like people. People tend not to agree with me sometimes. You should see the comments on some of our posts, some of our clips. People, they can't stand me. I'm irritating.
Yes,
they want Spinny to talk more.
I agree. He is very irritating as someone who's known him my entire life.
I'm actually not irritating. I'm agitating. So it's different.
When I was 5 and he was 7, he made up a whole song about him and my brother being 7 and 11 and left me out.
Wow.
I still cry to this day thinking about how you and my brother were in this little club and I was just the tag along, the third wheel.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I irritate people. I'm more memorable.
Wow.
You're welcome. See, now you'll never forget me.
Well, despite all irritations, thank you for coming on the podcast, Vanessa. It's great to meet you and have you in here. So what you're a very talkative, do you find it's more positive or negative in your life, your talkativeness as it exists right now?
To be honest, I would say that it's 50-50 because
Really?
I have definitely talked myself into a lot of good things, and I definitely have talked myself out of and into a lot of bad things. I definitely think that it can be a trait and an attribute not to be scared to go and, advocate for what you want and speak up. My mom always said the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and I take that to heart. I have no problems speaking up. But I live in DC and I work in a very conservative environment. And sometimes when you want to speak truth to power doesn't want to hear what you got to say. They just want you to fall in line. And that can get you in some pretty uncomfortable situations.
Yeah. I could imagine now, too, with the fragile egos that are involved in certain places. Yeah.
Yes, everyone's uncle.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I want to get this started because I feel like you've lived an amazing life, Prima. So I want to kind of like get it from the beginning. So I want to ask you a question. Something I don't even fucking know because I was too young to pay attention to realize it. But how old were you when you moved from East Oakland, deep East Oakland, to Oklahoma, of all places?
I think I just figured it out like 2 days ago because Uncle Troy, our uncle, was like, you moved in 1991. And I was like, oh, so I was 3 when I moved to Oklahoma. Because had you told me, I would have been like, I was 5. I was 6. It changed every time I answered that question. But I was about 3. Then this is how
I thought you were older than that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Maybe you were just like spending summers with us, and then that's the memories I have.
But I think it's also because like I lived with your mom a few times. Like my mom would get sick, and I would live with you guys. So it's like all of it's very like blurry. So.
Yeah. So you were 3 when you moved from deep East Oakland to Oklahoma.
Yep. And
Okay.
I remember I went up to my neighbor. And I think I told him my granny had HIV or something like that.
What? Wait, when you got to Oklahoma?
You gotta explain that
Yeah,
one.
I went up to my neighbor Rick and I was like, "Hi, I'm Vanessa. I heard my granny's dying and has HIV or something like that."
Wow.
And he says he remembers me coming when we moved. He was like, "Oh, I remember you were just like a little bitty thing."
So tiny, huh?
Yeah, I don't. Because back then you didn't know you were. You're a kid. You don't know you're not supposed to say things.
Yeah. Wow.
So was it a shock from you? Like, well, you were super young.
I was 3.
Yeah. But okay. Well, let's upgrade the question to this: coming back and visiting us in Oakland, and then going back to Oklahoma, was it a very big difference for you from being in the inner city rather than like the rural areas you lived in Oklahoma?
Oh yeah, I would definitely say that it was coming to Oakland for summers. I spent a lot of summers here growing up, and it would always be a lot of fun. But there were a lot of tears and I was bullied when I would come here because I spoke differently. And a lot of the times, I grew up in an all white environment in Oklahoma, and then I would come to East Oakland and hang out with my cousins, and they had all black friends, and they had never really been around white people, and they're like, "Why do you talk like that?" And I would be like, "I just talk like,"
Yeah.
And then everyone thought I was weird. And then I remember one time there was like a lot of just like I wasn't really easily accepted, and it was weird to me because we would go to the gas station, there'd be all these black people, and I would just be like, "Why are there so many black people here? Like, where are the white people? Like, we should do all the white people." Yeah. And then I was just like. So like I wasn't so in awe by like you just see black people just doing regular stuff like like in Oklahoma it would just be like me and my family and then everybody else would be white. And it also kind of reminds me when I moved to DC, but I used to work at restaurants and everybody was black at the restaurant. I was like, we're the Mexicans. I was like, usually the Latinos work in the back of the house, and then you have the white people in the front of the house. I was like, there are so many black people here. And it's always been weird for me to be in environments that are majority black because in Oklahoma, I was used to being the only one. So it was challenging, but I think it also kind of like helped me grow because it showed me that I was different, but then at the same time, I think it makes you a little bit more robust and resilient because you've had to like kind of have that kind of adversity of like, oh, you don't fit in and how you're going to make friends with your cousin's friends and that type of thing. And then also like my cousins had to stick up for me, right? Like you had to like my cousin. So,
Yeah.
so I think it also like helped my cousins like look out for me because they always been looking out for me. I'm from
Yeah.
Oklahoma, so they always felt like when she's in East Oakland, we got to make sure nothing happens to Vanessa.
Until they go to Costa Rica and then they forget the rules.
Wait, well, what?
We'll bring that up later. Okay.
Yeah, okay, I'm making a mental note of that one.
Yeah.
What happened in Costa Rica?
Yeah. Okay. So, like you said, you had a very interesting life growing up, and moving from deep East Oakland, 73rd and Arthur, to Oklahoma, being raised in Oklahoma.
Did you know Granny had rats behind the washer and dryer in that house? Like,
it's East Oakland. There's rats everywhere. Yes, I believe. Probably roaches too. Like, yes. It's,
if you would ask me now, I'd be like, I have never in my life lived in a house with roaches.
I remember my mom not letting me come in the house with my clothes on after going to your favorite cousin's mom's house.
Oh yeah.
She would like she would like back when they was in the, kind of like the Jacksons or whatever. She would have me
Like
take off my clothes outside. They would hang outside, and I could come in the house. But the clothes had to hang out there for a while.
Make sure everything was gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So all of this, growing up in Oklahoma and then visiting us in Oakland and going back and forth, but also like you spoke on your mother being sick. What do you think growing up with the mother with lupus taught you, if it taught you anything?
I think it taught me independence, and it's in a way sometimes it's unfortunate as a child to have to learn that very quickly, to depend on yourself and to also kind of like have an own vision for yourself, because a child's supposed to be the focus, right, of their parents' time and attention and love. And when you have a loved one who's supposed to be the primary caregiver who's actually sick, a lot of that attention is put on the parent, and you kind of feel a little bit neglected as a child. Mm-hmm. But then having someone who's sick, you don't really want to complain because they're going through something that's very painful. Mm-hmm. And it's not something where you can kind of like speak up, because it's like, oh, well, they're the ones going through something so horribly debilitating, and then who am I to be like, oh, I'm not getting like any attention, no one wants to play with me or something like that.
Yeah, and it's not like self-inflicted, somebody that's on drugs or alcoholism. It's like it's something that just kind of happened, and they're trying to deal with it while they're trying to raise you.
Yeah. And I think now we see that people understand that like caregivers need a support system too, because like, when people have cancer and stuff like that and their spouse, they realize that like you can't just expect the person who's doing the caretaking to be all right, because it's a lot, Mm-hmm. And I think as a child, I just wanted my mom to be normal. I wanted my mom to be able to like bake cookies with me and take me places and help me like braid my hair and all of these things. My mom couldn't do any of that, so I felt like very like angry sometimes and resentful. And that's why I love coming to California, because I would be with his mother and she would take us places. Like my mom didn't drive, so it always like, why don't you drive? But then his mother drove, and she would take us like, let's go to the water park, let's go to the beach, let's go to Disneyland. So she was kind of like my second mom growing up and giving me all those things that I didn't have from my own mother. But at the same time, it was like, why couldn't I have that from my mother? And why do other people get to have a healthy mom who can do all of these things with them and I couldn't? So I think it taught me to kind of like depend on myself, but I also kind of feel like as a child you shouldn't have to depend on yourself. But my mom also taught me resilience, and I think that like
she's a survivor for real.
Yeah. And then also seeing her go through like, I only see my mother cry once in my entire life, and it was like when I physically saw her having a stroke. And then like to think about like all the times I have cried for like, I didn't get an A+ on this paper, and just like falling apart. And then my mom, and as you get older and you start experiencing like physical pain, and things like that, you're like, wait, this woman never cried ever, and she
was always going through it.
Yeah, right. And she didn't like taking medication, so you're like, you were straight up a G. You were just like, I ain't taking that, and I'm not telling no one I don't feel good because y'all gonna try to put me on some medication, so I'm about to just sit here and be quiet. And then you're like, wow, like you really went through some stuff. And my husband and I, like, we would love to have a child. And I like, sometimes I'm like, why would God bless me with a child, right? And then I'm like, he blessed my mother with 2 healthy children. So if my mom could do it, I can do it. And that's been like my mantra, like keeping me through all of this. Is like, if someone who went through so much was able to still be able to bring a child into this world, I should be able to do that too. And I think that's kind of how I've looked at things when they got really hard. It's like, my mom did a lot of things that she wasn't supposed to have done. It kept me going. So she definitely taught me, like, she was a big dreamer. She told me to dream big. So,
yeah. And just for context, for everybody to know, like I said, this is my blood cousin, and my mother is one of what, 6?
Yes.
Is one of 6 children, and she's the second oldest. So her mother is the youngest daughter. Our uncle that she brought up is the youngest altogether, but her mother is the youngest daughter. So it's like my mother being a good big sister, by knowing what her sister is going through and stepping in that space for her sister, for her daughter.
And my mom has had chronic lupus since the time she was 4, and
really,
she fell off the monkey bars.
I heard about that.
Yeah, when she was 4 years old and couldn't get back up. And then it was just in and out of hospitals ever since then. But she did really great until she had me. And then that's when things like declined again. But your mom, especially like now that we're adults, it's like your mom did a lot for me. Because like now when you think about like, would you do this for you? What would you do for your sibling, or what would I do for my sibling? You know, like having to really pick up that like extra slack that they can't or are unable to do. And it's a lot to really like have to like have your own life, your own career, your own family,
granddaughter in college, and still, like you said, still show up.
Yeah, like
shout out to my mom, man. You're 1 in a million, mom. You're crazy good.
Yeah, she's been at every major milestone in my entire life. I'm talking graduations, multiple. I'm talking she was there at my wedding, and she helped me pick out a dress for. She went
with you, and took my daughter to go get her dress from New York.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess my mom also taught me that like your siblings also, that's kind of like sometimes you got to step up as a sibling. And I think that that's also something that somewhat runs in our family. You definitely see the elders always taking it very serious, like about. They gotta like be a good example for the youngest, but we all have our bickering moments sometimes.
Yeah, and how long has Auntie Pookie been gone?
20. No, she died when I was 20. 16 years.
16? Damn, bro, that's crazy. Yeah, so that was the somber part of everything. Like I said, R.I.P. Auntie Pookie. But
and we could do a whole episode on my mother.
Yeah. Shoot. What you know about Auntie Pookie? But let's get into things that happened, after that. So, like I said, you were raised in Oklahoma. So you went to Oklahoma University.
Boomer. Sooner. Texas sucks.
What? What was that?
What did we just say?
I think she just gangbanged. College. That was like collegiate gangbanging.
Boomer Sooner is the slogan for the University of Oklahoma. And I somehow got tricked into marrying a Longhorn from UT
You were a Longhorn? Oh man, yeah, he gotta go.
It's actually grad school, so I don't think it counts. I just tell everyone my really smart husband went to an Ivy League school. So I just, and I ignore the Longhorn part.
So what was life like going to the University of Oklahoma while Sam Bradford was going there for any football fans?
And Blake Griffin, don't forget that.
She was there when Blake was there. Hey, yeah. More people probably know Blake than Sam. Sam's career didn't pan out as great. But Blake is that guy. He didn't win a championship, but he's still that guy.
So I grew up. So
hold on. Don't disrespect Tyler too.
Tyler.
Wasn't that his brother's name?
Taylor.
Blake had a brother named Todd.
Taylor.
He's important too.
I think he played overseas, or he did. You're gonna get people gonna be coming at us. Like,
okay.
I have a reputation to uphold. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways.
So how was it being there when Blake Griffin and Sam Bradford, because that's football and basketball, you were there at a good time.
And you know what? I actually worked in the athletic dorms, but I got fired. I worked.
What?
my sophomore year, I worked in the athletic dorms, and all my friends, remember Tia? She went to the Olympics. I was hanging out with all the freshmen and drinking with them. But you're not apparently supposed to do that when you're an RA.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they found out.
That's what the cool RAs do. Though.
And they found out that I was doing that, and they were like, "Oh, you don't like, so you're not coming back next year, and actually, you don't have to do anything else for the rest of this year."
Really? They let you down soft. That was nice. They was like, actually, just leave.
I was
Pretty much.
offended. I was offended.
Like, I'm helping you guys.
And then like they had a way better like cafeteria than we did. They had like tutors. It was interesting living the athletic dorm and being the least athletic person ever. Like I can't bounce. They've been trying to teach me to bowl for like 10 years now, and I still can't throw the ball straight. They just be like, we go over this and we don't understand. Like, what is wrong? Like, make your arm just do it. Just like, I am throwing it straight. It's going across your body. How do you not see this is going across your body? And I'm like, look, didn't play sports, have no mind-body coordination, none of that. But was up in the athletic dorms, and Sam Bradford ate by himself every day, not with his team. And like, no one liked him on the team. Yep.
Oh.
But Blake was actually like a congenial person. Everyone would
congenial. Hold on. Yeah. So how do you spell that? What is congenial?
He was
mean?
very social. Like he was like,
okay. Okay, social.
Yeah, he was social, and you could tell like he showed like good leadership skills like with his team. Like he would eat with his team. Like you could hear them like laughing and joking. And Sam Bradford ate by himself, quiet, didn't talk to anyone. And it was just like one of those things when you're like, you're the like you're
the quarterback.
Yeah, you're supposed to be like the one putting that camaraderie of the team. And even just like for someone on the outside, like, well, I guess I don't want to be on that team because all the other players are like right behind him together.
Weird.
Yeah, it was really weird. And then also he like never won when we were there. So like, and dude, you do not want to lose a football game and go to like a football school. The whole campus the next day would just feel depressed, and you could just feel this like you could just feel it. You just be like, oh,
an aura of depression.
Yes. And I was like, man, I wonder what the football players do, because I would just be in hiding because like you would think that someone was probably going to shoot them or something, because how dare you lose the game? And it was a lot of pressure, but like I will give him this. One game he had a broken finger or whatever. He was doing somersaults, running the ball. He's like, I'm about to be the whole damn team. He was like, y'all ain't doing nothing. I'm gonna run the ball, throw the ball, catch the ball, all of it. Still lost the game, but I was like, look, good effort, Sam. Good effort.
Oh, he still lost though. Sam was trying, huh?
Yeah. We would get very close, but we just always lose. So
that's what college life was like?
Oh, college life was great. Oh, let's back up. So I ended up going to high school in a small military town, Lawton, Oklahoma, near Fort Sill. Mm-hmm. So it was very diverse. Like I had friends, like I've always had friend groups that were very multicultural. And my best friend growing up was Filipina. One was Mexican. One was German and Black.
In Oklahoma?
Yes, in Lawton, Oklahoma. And like, because you have to remember, you're near a military base, people are bringing their wives and everything from all over the world, like people of all these blended families. So I was just like, when I go to college, it's about to be this times 20. It's about to be so diverse. It's about to be great. I get there, my dorm floor is all white girls and me and my roommate. And I was just like, and it's because we got like a bougie dorm. We upgraded. And apparently all the black people just got like the basic dorm. And we didn't get this memo. Like all the black people are going to be in this dorm, and then if you get these dorms that are upgraded, that was like
the white
dorms. So like, and it was like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Texas, but like these are people from like South Lake, Texas, which is like this really affluent area of Texas. So like a judge's daughter, a plastic surgeon's daughter, doctor's daughter, like this is whole floor. And I'm coming from a place where it's like my mom's on like government, like my mom got disability, no one in my family worked. Like it was just like it was like one of those, my roommate's mom was on food stamps, didn't have a job. So we were just like, oh, okay. And
this was freshman year?
Yeah, and everyone was all white and everyone was affluent. And people were like, do you need games? Do you need tickets to the football games? We have some extra tickets if you need them. And then we were in the parking lot one time looking for my friend's car, and they're like, oh, do you guys need a ride somewhere? Like, people would just do these, like, microaggressions, like, low-key, like, racist, like, just thinking we were poor.
Can't nobody make sure that you were getting home?
And, we're in a parking lot. why? What else are we doing but looking for our car? Like, they're, oh, you need a ride? Like, what? I was just like,
Okay, man. Maybe I'll be missing it.
and then like also like, do you ask everybody they need a ticket? I kind of wish I would have taken a ticket now, but like,
That's what I'm saying. See, this is one thing that I feel like with our people. Since this is a talkative episode, I'm gonna talk a little bit. I feel like we be looking for racists. And like a lot of times, I don't care. It's like if it betters my life, yeah, give me that racist. Come on, I'll take some of that racism. You know, like I don't have time to decipher other people's intentions. I feel like we spend so much time trying to determine what somebody else's intentions on what they were doing is, when it's like, what did you want to get done?
so I agree with that a lot, and I feel like where I'm at now in my career, where I do walk in a lot of spaces where I'm one of the only other, you know, and sometimes people will be like, oh, everyone there is racist. And I was like, well, can I please find out for myself? Like, you know, like before, let me determine that, like, let me experience that. And then I think a lot of the times, like some people do turn everything into like a race. It's all about race. And I'm kind of like, it's not always like that. So I agree with you, but I feel that, like, were you asking everybody if they needed a ticket to the game? And do you just be giving random people rides? And, well, I guess she wasn't racist. You're going to give some black girls a ride in the parking lot. Like, that sounds pretty stupid to me. Like, if, like, just going to pick up some strangers. Yeah. Like, you need to go to Walmart. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm saying about it. It's like, it can't, I understand the microaggressions and stuff like that, but think about it on a realistic level. Like you said, the girl you were with, her parents or her mother or whatever was on food stamps. Your mother was on government assistance, disability. They're trying to help you because they know you actually need help. They came from affluent spaces. They don't need any fucking help. So they're trying to be like, well, I have abundance. Do you need anything? And it's like, oh, I don't need anything because I'm not poor. It's like, no, take the help. It's free help.
Yeah, but I think as a family, I think, as you probably know, our family has a lot of pride, right? So it's just like one of those things where you're like, I want to be seen. I don't want to. You feel like you're being seen as less than, and you just want to. You don't want to be seen that way.
Yeah, but also I think that's a young thought process. I feel like as I get older, it's like, what's going to get me to where I want to get to faster. And like I said, because I know as the person that I am, in any situation, in any room, on any team, I'm going to add value, regardless. So if you think that you need to help me some. And I'm still going to add value. I'm going to find a place where it's like, oh, well, did you guys think about this? Oh, I was doing some research late last night and I found out this. Do you guys think this is valuable?
I think what you said, it was pretty spot on. Like, as you get older, you get more confident in your skills and abilities. And I think when you're younger, you're still trying to figure out like who you are and what do you bring to the table. Because if you would have asked me back then, what is your Ness? I wouldn't have said TalkativeNESS. I would have said, I'm going to be a biologist. Like, you know, like I'm going to be a doctorativeness, you know, and then knowing
scientificness.
Yes. And then like, if you talk to my husband right now, he's like, do not let this lady near anyone's body. She will mutilate it. And then you will walk out with sepsis. Just don't. And I was just like, you know what? Like somebody intervened and do like, I did not need to be a doctor. But asked me 20 years ago, I just knew I was going to be a doctor. So yeah, I definitely think that like you're right with that. And I still think that I do think where they were coming from was not a bad place. I don't think it had any like, it was like
ill intent.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it was just one of those things where they were ignorant too, because like I've realized that I was encountering people who had never interacted with Black people. Because they were like, I came from rural Oklahoma where there was like 2 Black people and they dated each other. Like I heard that a lot. Like, and it was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, and I came from a place that was, I think, very fortunate where like everyone was always blended. And you see that in my life today. I still have a very blended friend group. You know, I'm in an interracial marriage. So it's very
Jungle Fever.
That was one of the names of the drinks at our wedding. Did you notice?
I know. That's why I brought it up. That's why I said it. So we talked about college. Now I want to get to after college. So you went to college, you got your degree, you passed through all the racism of people trying to help you. At what point in your life because I know your life, because I've been a part of it. Did you know that you wanted to work for the federal government of all things?
Whoa.
She's a Fed.
I'm not.
I didn't tell you.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, there's Fed.
I'll be right back, you guys.
I can neither confirm nor deny my employer. What I will say is that I think if anyone who knows me, I'm very like focused and tunnel vision when I want something, and I wasn't being that way with becoming a doctor, and so I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. But I'd always been this ambitious, driven person, so it's never been something where I'm just about to go coast and just chill. So I got this idea where I'm gonna go to Spain. Like, you know, I found a place. Spain. I found a place where I can just hide out and figure out what I'm gonna do. And I went to Spain, and
that was during college or after college?
It was like my senior year of college.
Okay.
So I had finished all of my credits and literally just had to finish up my minor in Spanish. So I was like, I'm just gonna do the Spanish classes in Spain, like where the Spanish originated.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
For people who want to speak Spanish.
And Spinny's working on learning Spanish.
A little bit,
don't
poco.
Don't go to Spain because
no, solo Mexico.
It's a different dialect, and it will be not as helpful.
I'm not trying to speak with a lisp.
Oh, Barcelona.
That was hella funny. Yeah, Spinny's trying to get me to Puerto Vallarta.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I want to go back to. Like, you know, you got me to Mexico the first time, but when I go back, I want to go there or Mexico City as a.
Everyone I know says Mexico. I've never been to Mexico City, but it's like I work with a lot of people who are expats, and they just
remember my friend Tamika that came with us to Miami. Mm-hmm. She was talking about going. And I asked her, I was like, "You want to go to Mexico?" Like, she was like, she wanted to take a trip. And I was like, I don't want to take a trip in the U.S. And she was like, I don't either. I was like, let's go to fucking Mexico. So I'm trying to see what she might hit me back and see. I'm down to go back to Mexico.
But to go back to your original question. Yeah. So did you know there's something called a diplomat, and they pay you to go all around the world, and they have a career where you just like represent U.S. culture and what it means to be an American. I was like, I am a Black American. I would be a shiny thing that they can send me all over the world and be like, look, this is America. And look at this. We have a woman and a Black woman out here representing us. Mm-hmm. I was like, I am a perfect person for this. And you're going to pay me just to go around the world and just like be me and just like, this is what America is. This is what we're about. I was like, sign me up. So I just randomly applied to grad school in DC because I also was like, I ain't going back to Oklahoma. So
you were over Oklahoma, and then you thought about the diplomat thing, and then you were like, okay, I might as well go to grad school in DC.
Yeah, and I applied to 3 schools. In one program was in North Carolina at a women's maternal health. I was applied for a master's program in that. And then I applied for a program doing international communication. And I never opened up the letter for the maternal health. I think I was like afraid they were going to shoot me down. But the one for grad school in DC, I got in and I didn't ask any questions. I actually didn't even know how much it cost. Don't do that when you go to school. Just you actually figure out all the dollars and cents.
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way. My daughter's first year. Because
you're right? You're just like, because this is the time where we were sold the dream of like, go to college, get a degree as much as you can, and you're going to be set for life. So of course it's like, just do it, right? It doesn't matter what it is, just do it. So I was like, okay, all right, oh, how much is it? I don't know, like whatever. Get to DC and I was like, oh my God, I got to live in a house with like 6 other people. Like I had to I was working at Red Lobster, holding it down at the lab. Mm-hmm. And
do you know they now have a Black CEO?
Yeah, he said he was getting rid of endless shrimp. He's like, he ain't giving away free food.
I like that, man.
That is a stupid business plan.
Yeah. And he, don't quote me on these numbers, but he was saying like, they still buy like more than 50% of the seafood that comes into the U.S.
Oh my God!
Like Red Lobster, he's like Red Lobster. Like we are the ones who are buying it still, even as like a failing company. Like we're the ones buying the seafood.
That makes me wonder about the quality of the seafood in the United States, then, because
what you saw when you were working. And they said they bought the quantity of it. They didn't say about the quality of it.
Yo, my brother said that like a lot of like fish goes through Oklahoma.
Really?
Yes, and that made me worried too. Landlocked
There's literally no
Oklahoma.
water. Like, what the fuck?
He was like, yeah, we have all these like packages, and it wasn't catfish either. It's I forgot, it was like trout or something. It was a random thing, but there's some place in Oklahoma. I guess they're farming it, but it was so weird.
Bro, I didn't pull nothing last night. Nothing. Where the fuck is Wilbur?
Wilbur was bugging last night, bro. He was throwing the food.
Right.
Fuck, bro.
Oh, for real.
Wilbur do that shit, bro.
Good morning. Did I hear my name being spoken of, gentlemen?
Wilbur.
Good morning.
Wilbur, what's up, bro?
Where the fuck you been, dog?
It's so good to see you again. Last night I took down the fairest of maidens. I was doing nothing but macking freaks and clapping cheeks. Oh, gosh darn evening. Oh, well, let me show you this fair maiden who allowed me into her bed last night. I took a little video of me sharing a bed with the maiden.
Wilbur!
Oh, yeah.
Wilbur! Wilbur! Wilbur!
Kind of big.
Oh, thick is an understatement, my dear friend.
Wilbur, how you pull that?
Well, I don't riz and tell, but all night she was complimenting me on my fit, from the shirt to the undies to the socks. The maidens love the Ness culture, methinks. Anyways, I'm a bit parched and starving from a long night of passionate, ravenous lovemaking, so I'm going to get some breakfast, but I'll see you gentlemen around, okay?
The Ness?
Wilbs did that?
The Wilbs did that.
With Ness culture.
With Ness culture.
We gotta go to some Ness culture, bro.
But yeah, so basically I wanted a job where I didn't know you could get paid to talk in life. So, and you gotta remember, like, and when I came up with this, everyone told me I was crazy and go to medical school, and everyone.
Oh, I know what light skinned cousin told you that. I remember those conversations. Pito was like harassing you about it.
Oh yeah, because how was I going to support my brother and everybody? And, you know, because I was supposed to do all of these things, and I was just like, I'm just gonna try it. And then when you're in grad school in DC, the federal government becomes like this really like, it's the thing you want. Like, this working at the State Department, if you're working in international relations, is like the top job you want to get. So everyone really focuses on that, and then some people end up at NGOs or other places, but
We don't know acronyms here.
so working at nonprofits, and I don't believe in working for not a profit. So I was like not doing that, and it just seemed like it was a very secure. They call it the golden handcuffs, because you have a pension, you have a decent salary, and you're kind of like, you're really hard to get fired. So it seemed like. And that's what
Are they hiring?
Have you seen the
job
news?
market is crazy right now.
But have you seen the news?
Yeah, but he already got rid of the fat. I'm muscle.
Oh, okay. So, but I also thought I was going to be a diplomat. So I thought I was going to go in and do the thing where I go live overseas for 2 years at a time and rotate. But then I went to Panama and did a internship there for a few months. Hated it.
Really?
Yes. First of all, did you know that like when you're black in Europe, everyone thought you were really cool, and then you're black in Panama, everyone's like, we're all black in Panama, so we really don't care, and you're also American, and we kind of like we're kind of done with the occupation thing, so you know. Weren't really interested in like bringing me to parties and being, you know, like
yo, this our American friend. It's like, nah, you can leave.
Yeah, but in Spain, like they loved it. And Obama was president, so it was like so cool to have a black friend. And you were just like, I'm okay being your black. Yeah, I'm your party chick.
I'm saying, yeah, that's how you were raised in Oklahoma. It's like, yeah, I'm the only black girl. And then you went to Spain. You was like, yes, it's comfortable again. I'm the black girl. Hey, everybody.
And then like we all know this, right? Like then they love to teach you like bad words. Like they just think it's so funny, and then they're like, you sound like the movies, and then you like, and then you go to Panama, and they're like, we black, you black, what else you got? And then
it's like U.S. It's like,
and
we're not too fond of that either.
And then this is when I realized my Spanish was the wrong Spanish, because I couldn't understand what they were saying, and they're like, oh, you speaking that Castilian Spanish, like
Castilian.
So it's a region of Spain it's for like Barcelona. I was on the coast there.
Okay. But they knew. They
yeah,
were
like,
oh,
yeah. So, but then also like you feel defeated because you're like, well, why did I just spend all this time learning Spanish for and not be able to speak Spanish to people?
To other people, yeah. Only a small region can understand me.
Yeah, and so I was very lonely there, and then I also realized that like that's when you also kind of first realize like, oh, everybody don't like America. Like I was still very ignorant like of the world.
I'm saying a lot of Americans are.
So
were you down there like helping orchestrate coups and like topple governments and back like far right juntas or anything like that? Or
no, I was doing the public diplomacy stuff. I was
that's
helping, like I was doing grants. I actually did a entrepreneurship grant where I did a Shark Tank competition. So I had all of these young Panamanian entrepreneurs come together, and they had to come up with like an invention, and then I paired them up with mentors. And then they had to like work over a few weeks with their mentor and then like present their project. And then at the end of it, they got a trip to the U.S. to then do a study of U.S. businesses. And that was just like one of my projects in addition to like helping like give out language learning scholarships. I went to this like small island where we were like giving these like kids grants. It was like they had bathrooms where you like went to the edge of the ocean. And like it was just like a hole, and you just like poop in the like hut.
That's how it should be.
Of the ocean.
Yeah, let it hang.
Yeah. We had to take like a motorboat, and like there at one point they're like we might have to helicopter you guys in because we were going near like the Darien, which is like where the narcos are like at that time because it was like the drug back then, like Colombia, the drug trade and stuff. So they were like we might have to helicopter y'all in. It was cool. Like it had those moments that was really cool, but it definitely told me that like on the personal front, like if you don't have a good family base or support system, it can be lonely. So then I was like, I'm gonna stay in DC and have a job where I could just travel when I wanted to.
But your brother came and visited you in Spain so he can get stamps in his passport.
Yeah, we had a
which he probably has lost by now.
Well, he found it. He went to the wedding in Mexico, so he got a new passport.
No, he probably got a new passport. He had a passport with all the y'all hopped on speed rails for those stamps. I remember that. He came back with some damn red bottoms. Some red bottom tennis shoes. It was like,
nice.
Hey, but I know he enjoyed himself though. He came out there and visited.
Shout out to my brother. He was like, I got to do cocaine in Spain. I'm so excited, and I was just like, bro.
That's what this podcast is
How was
about.
the cocaine in Spain?
I don't know because I don't do cocaine.
Of course you don't, federal government employee. But because you think Colombia and stuff, but where are they getting it in Spain? Are they making it in Spain, or do they bring it over from the same places they bring it? Like what? Where's the Spain
logistics.
It might be easier to get it. I wonder if it's probably easier to get it from Asia.
Yeah.
Babe, what do you think? Afghanistan? Are they bringing in? Oh wait, no, that's heroin.
Afghanistan has heroin. The opioids.
Where is the drug trade coming? Sorry, my husband's really smart and knows a lot about other countries.
Just so y'all know, our husband's off in the corner, so I'm just talking to some. We only have 3 cameras because it's kind of a micro budget podcast thing here. But
do you know anything about the drug trade in Europe?
Europe, it goes through from Afghanistan.
That's what I see. Look, I know something. Okay,
so
it's more than just poppy.
Yeah. I'm sure they have other things. But I know Afghanistan is known for their poppies. But like you said, I'm pretty sure they're doing other stuff. So, you said you went from Oklahoma to DC to go to grad school.
Are we boring you?
I'll listen to something important.
My husband is...
Hey, we're not here for you to ridicule that great husband you have, okay?
I'm offended because let me not watch him score a touchdown. Oh, you don't play football. A home run, a basket, or whatever, and it's like end of the world. I am doing my thing. I'm talking. This is my favorite thing to do in the world. And then you don't want to listen to me talk?
He has to listen to you talk all day. How dare you do...
he looks like he's listening. I see him chuckling and reacting to things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all don't know. My family likes my husband now more than me. They just like...
He's a great man.
My uncle yesterday said, if y'all get divorced, I'm still talking to Steve. Just to let you know.
Oh, most definitely. I'm going to fly him out. Like, hey, bro, I'm in Atlanta. Let's go bowl.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So you moved from Oklahoma to the DMV for grad school. Where you met one of your best friends also, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in hindsight, just, like I said, that's what, 10 years ago?
12 years ago.
12 years ago you did that. In hindsight, now looking back on it, do you think it was smart moving from Oklahoma, everything you knew, your college, your alma mater's there and all that other good stuff? Do you think it was smart to move from Oklahoma to the DMV?
Honestly, I don't know. Because you know how you think about like the road not taken? And I kind of think that I probably would have, if I would have stayed in Oklahoma, I probably would have ended up in the healthcare field in some capacity. And I probably would have like a smaller life. Like I would probably have like a very, like I always say, like, oh, I probably would have gotten married to a mechanic and we would probably have 3 kids by now and live down the street from my brother, and it's just like one of those things where you're just kind of like, I really wanted a big life and I've lived a big life, but then sometimes I'm like, should I have had like this really small, quaint life? And, now that as you get a little older, you're kind of like, is this big life where you've been jet setting and doing all these things better than having like your friends and your family like right there at your fingertips at any moment? Like
She's probably trying to get out, bro.
Oh yeah, my cat's trying to go out the stairs, and it's fine though.
Oh, he really
just let her figure it out.
He really likes cats, so he's trying to hold it hostage.
Yeah, that's Meowcom.
That's Meowcom. Yeah.
She gets a little violent, but what you said? Don't touch her. What?
Her back legs usually, but she's so focused on trying to get outside, she'll be fine.
But
that's what she. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. You guys. You guys know Meowcom is.
Wish we could have had a camera on that. They could have. I got the shot of her.
Yeah, her
up on the couch, but
Meowcom's very important to this podcast. She's been around for a long time. Like I said, so I wanted to make sure Meowcom got where she wanted to go.
Anyways, please continue. Sorry. Get a little cat derailing there.
Yeah, so you was it smart or not? And you said you wanted to think bigger, live bigger. Or...
Yeah, and even like being here and seeing that, like, because I was singing to my husband earlier. I was like, why didn't I go to school here? Like, why didn't I go to college here? Like this is like, why didn't I ever
come out here? Most of your family's out here.
I would have had a support system, but I also was like, I would be a completely different person.
Most definitely.
Like I would be completely different.
Yeah, we would have got you into all types of shenanigans.
Yeah, and I was like, would I have graduated? So I would have run around with my cousin. I was cousin who we do so many things together. And I would have been with her half the time. I've always been someone who can party and study, but like it definitely would have been like I'd be a different me.
A different peer pressure. And then also like all of us pulling in. Like I said, I think you would have still graduated, but like I said, your life would have been substantially different just being around us. Like being kind of like alone on the East Coast, it does something different, which is why I sent my daughter to the Southeast, where she's kind of like by herself. Because it does something to bringing you into that responsibility of taking care of yourself, even though in her situation, we're paying for everything,
Well, like when, and the story of my brother, like everything was good and he was helping me out a lot. And then, as everything goes with someone with addiction, they spend all their money on drugs and then there's no longer any money for anything else. Mm-hmm. And for the first time in my life, I called my brother needing money and he's like, I don't have it, So it's just like one of those things where I was just like, you've never not had money to give me. Like you've always had money to give me. Mm-hmm. And so then I really had to like fend for myself, like, because I had decided, like, I guess I could have gone back, but that's never been like in my mentality to like, oh no, I'm just gonna drop out of school and go back to Oklahoma. So I was like, I guess I gotta find some way to make some money. I guess this job I don't like working, I guess I actually gotta work it. Mm-hmm. So I just had to do what I had to do. And again, I think like you said, it does make you mature and kind of like figure out how to like
navigate things,
and get your shit together. So I think it's been a blessing, but as I'm getting a little older, I do kind of wish I had more family near me, which I think would be, because I think about if we have children, I want them to like have cousins, and because I have a lot of cousins and I love all my cousins and I love spending time with my cousins, and I have like relationships with all of you guys independently.
Does your husband's sister, do they live near you guys, or they far from?
They live in Texas.
Oh. Well, I'm saying you guys are a traveling family. You guys can come see us anytime you want to. I'll probably have a kid around the time you have a kid.
Wait, Steven. Oh, sorry. Can we edit that out? the man of which I am betrothed, he would love that. I had to explain to him that distance makes the heart grow fonder. So,
Yes, that is a true thing.
So I was like, no, we just got to make sure like we don't stay too much or get around y'all too much where I can start having beef with somebody. So I just was like,
Oh, the beef doesn't matter in this family. Yeah, you can have beef with everybody, and the events are still going to go on. It's like, do you want free food or not? That's how our beef works. It's like, yeah, my mom's cooking. Well, I'm not talking. Okay, well then don't talk to her. But my mom's cooking. Like I don't know what you want to say.
Oh, you know, at my bachelorette party, Radisha and I were arguing about something, and one of my friends was like so worried, and I was like, "Wait, why are you tripping? Like, oh, is everything okay?" I was like, "That's my cousin. Of course we're arguing."
Yeah. That's just a disagreement. We don't agree on this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm letting her know that I'm not backing down. She's letting me know she's not backing down. But where's the shots?
Yeah. So it was just like, this is just how we do us.
Yeah. So this is a great segue to Costa Rica.
Yeah. So Panama is how we got to Costa Rica.
Okay, so go.
So my cousin, my lovely cousin, who was the maid of honor at my wedding, when I was in Panama, she came and visited me. And this is kind of how it works with me. I kind of go to these crazy places or not so crazy places, and then I say, "Hey, come see me," and my family will actually do it. I
came to her and I don't know what she was doing, but she was just like, I'm in California, but she was like in SoCal, and she was like, somebody come visit me, and I was like, I got a day. I just flew down there and just like kicked it with her. We went and got some crab cakes. I talked to her co-workers and
it
just
was during
chilled.
COVID and you did this.
Yeah. Oh man, I was moving around. Man, during COVID, I was like the only person outside, bro. I loved it. It was amazing.
Nice. Yeah, when I had to drive somewhere and the roads were just totally empty, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. So back to Panama and Costa Rica, so we can get the Costa Rica story.
So she came and met me in Panama, and we did
this. This is her cousin from East Oakland, deep East Oakland. You know, our cousin, I guess. Yeah.
So yes, she is your cousin too. We
not confirmed. No.
Well, you know, in our family, some of these things are a little questionable, but.
Shh.
We went to San Blas, we went to the Red Frog beach and everything, and that was great. Panama was great. Then we meet up with some of my friends from college in Costa Rica, and we're supposed to do this we're basically like going from beach to beach, because the thing about Costa Rica, they have the Caribbean side and they have the Pacific side, so you just want to go back and say like, what do we like better, blah blah blah. We go the first day. We go riding on ATVs, and I don't usually do the driving in most situations because everyone says I drive too slow. Because I'm very cautious. I'm the person who's like, oh, we gotta go the speed limit, or maybe a little bit less than the speed limit.
Yes. We left from the same place today, and they showed up almost 15 minutes after me. That is outlandish.
And we also had to drop a plate off. We had to give a plate to Radisha to give to her mother. But anyways, yes. So I never get to drive anything because everyone's like, you're not fun. And so you're always a passenger.
Yeah, she's driving the Oklahoma speed limit, and she has family from Oakland. Ugh.
And so we should have known. We were in the ATV. The ATV stops on us. And my cousin has to ride on the back of a motorcycle with some guy to go back to the rental place to get a whole new ATV and tell them like, hey, yo, this one's not working well. Then we just get on the new ATV and just start riding it around. And then all of a sudden we're riding it and the brakes just don't work anymore. Ooh. And the ATV veers off to the side in the sand. And then we end up hitting a tree, flipping the ATV with it landing almost on us. And I broke my foot, didn't know it was broken at the time, and I couldn't even walk back whenever we got up. And because my cousin was driving, everyone was like, oh, are you upset with her? And I was like, well, I'm the one who let her drive. I didn't have to be a passenger. I could have done my own thing.
I would like to say, as a family member, we were so disappointed in her. I'm like, you're supposed to be looking out for Vanessa. Why would you? You should know how to. You're from East Oakland. You should know how to react when you driving something without brakes. We expect more out of you. Keep Vanessa safe.
I will say this. I do feel for her because I'm the type because so there's two Vanessas. There's the cautious Vanessa, and then there's the other Vanessa
Party Vanessa.
where we're in Miami and they're talking about, hey, they're about to start shooting, and I was like, this is about to get interesting. Like, we should stay and see how this will play out. And apparently that is not safe.
I'm glad she got you out of that one.
Yeah, and she was like, the family will blame me. We are not safe.
Was that before or after Costa Rica?
It was after Costa Rica.
Yeah, we already blamed her for Costa Rica. It was like, bro, how did you let Vanessa break her foot? Like,
Yeah.
And you were driving. Like, what were you doing? It's your fault that Vanessa broke her foot.
Yeah.
And apparently the brakes failed. And what's crazy is I never knew the brakes failed.
Oh.
I just knew they crashed and Rodnisha was driving, and it's Rodnisha's fault. That's all I knew. I didn't know there was a mechanical issue, and I probably didn't care. It was just like, why did you hurt Vanessa?
But yo, if you ever are in Costa Rica, make sure they do the right x-rays, because they didn't do the right x-ray. They basically did a laying down x-ray, and apparently like for feet you have to do a weight bearing x-ray. They told me to just like walk it off, basically. You'll be fine in a few days when I get back to the United States. And they're like, yo, your foot is broken and you need surgery. Like, it was like this whole thing. I think did your mom come out for that surgery? Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she was there.
My mom's the MVP, man. Shout out to you, Mom.
Your mom was there because I remember she made pound cake with lemon. His mother is a great cook. But don't ask her for a recipe, because she'll just be like, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then there you go. And I'm just like,
what is a little bit?
Yes, like I need tablespoon, teaspoon. Like,
is that a cup? Like, I don't know what.
And then she'll be like, I was like, I don't know. This is why I'm asking you.
It's a vanilla extract.
Yeah, that's the key secret ingredient. Yeah. Vanilla extract.
So going from the inner city as a young child in Oakland, to rural Oklahoma, then as an adult going to the city on the East Coast, because that's not the West Coast. The West Coast and East Coast, inner cities are different. A lot of people don't know that. 80% of the population of the United States lives on the eastern side of it. So the West Coast is really a microcosm. Even though we have 40 million in Cali. Were there any big adjustments, kind of like, going from deep East Oakland and having that, that family, that you could come visit there and experiencing that, then Oklahoma and then the East Coast inner city? Was there a variation that you had to adjust to, or was it just like being in Oakland, being in DC?
It was a little bit like being Oakland, because it was definitely really weird being around a lot of black people again, because it was very much so like, wow, because I had just gotten back from Spain, and everyone's white in Spain, so I was like, and then I also was in like the international student population, so you're dealing with like a lot of Polish and like Germans, and so it was like basically came from another all white scenario. And then I was like, and then the thing that blew my mind is like black men were approaching me, and I was like, you're not supposed to like me, you're supposed to like white women. I was like, what is going on? Why are you talking to me? And then I was just like, y'all like black women out here. The black men like black women. It's just like, it was like,
yeah, I guess that's not something that you really encountered too much, except on your summers with us.
Yeah, and I was like, this was earth shattering. I was like, so if a black guy is talking to me, he might be hitting on me at any point in time. I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm like, cause like in Oklahoma, you just, for whatever reason, we're not the hot ticket on the dating market. You usually want a white girl.
It's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So it's learning like that I was actually considered like someone desirable to date, and then a lot of men I dated were like, I only will date black women, and it was so different because it was just new to me. So that was a big like culture shock. And then also kind of like the group housing things, because like coming from Oklahoma, everybody can afford, somebody, so usually you're living with someone like I don't really know anyone who had to like move in with a stranger in Oklahoma. It's always been like,
yeah, the cost of living is a lot lower in Oklahoma than DC and California.
Yeah, right. And then it's like, but then like even like in California, like you have your community here, so you probably know, well, if I can't live here, then I can go live here and piece it together. But then, and you see, like, you live in group houses, and then that's when one of my first house, this dude had OCD, and like literally hearing him like have to like move his like his door 5 times and then 5 times this way. And then he'd come home at like 2 a.m. and you're like, bro, you really gotta do the whole ritual. Like every time you go into your door, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Like people are sleeping. And then, you gotta share a bathroom with all these people. It was just like a whole new world. Like finding roommates on Craigslist and stuff like that. And
Oh man.
yeah, it was just,
Shout out Craigslist.
but that's how I met Francis in that house.
Yeah, shout out Francis.
My best
Yeah,
friend.
when me and Square Money came out to visit you, that's the first person I saw when we got there was Francis. Yeah.
And we bonded over like how we hate all these other roommates. We were just like, everybody here sucks but you. And we were like, oh my God, we should leave together. And that's what we did. But then we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in DC together. And like, again, who lives in a 1-bedroom apartment where one person's living in the living room and one's in the bedroom?
I've done that before.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like,
Yeah, you saw that.
And then,
Yeah.
and then when you tell people like, they're like, why would you do this? Like, just whatever.
Because it was cost effective.
Yeah. So that I would say, but for me, it wasn't really the East Coast, West Coast. It was the like dealing with people who were just trying to survive to people who are trying to thrive. Like, I think that was like the biggest adjustment for me because like, I feel like
that's a good point.
I feel like when you're coming from this like podunk, like hood mentality of where like, I have to get over on you before you get over on me.
That's Oakland right there.
So I can get what I need out of the situation. And you're always trying to figure out what you can get out of the situation, or you're trying to figure out how you can like manipulate it or finagle it to get what you need to get something out of it, right?
I'm glad we taught you something. We taught you something when you came out here for summers. Good.
So
that's the Oakland way.
So I think everything is always like, how can I come up? And then in a way it made me very like calculating, and you kind of start doing some shicey things and you're just like,
Oakland,
do I really need to be this person, right? And then I realized that like you're in the survival mentality and you're doing these things, and you really like should actually just try to be like friends with these people. Like you don't need to like, what can I get out of the situation? Are you what kind of currency am I gonna get from you, right? And I think that I just learned that like I really had to be a little bit less manipulative and a little bit less trying to like figure out how I'm gonna get over on someone, and more of like, everyone's not out here to get you or try to get over on you, like just chill. And that was a hard lesson because you're coming from people who don't have that mentality. So when they see like you're maneuvering like that, it doesn't always make you friends, right? So for me, that was a really, really big adjustment to kind of come from like, okay, and also you kind of realize you have a little bit of like PTSD too when you come from these situations, because you're just like,
no, not even a little. It's a lot. I try to tell people all the time, like even with chicks that I'm like talking to or I've dated, I try to explain to them like you're living in a survival mind state, and I want you to live in a thriving mind state. When you live in a thriving mind state, anything is possible and nothing is scarce. But like you said, coming from Oakland, being in that mentality where you're trying to like finagle everything to get the max that you can get out of it, that's not how people who thrive think. So you have to get better at adding value. Like that's on my whiteboard in my room. Add value, because that's what great people and people who have abundance do. They just add value because they have enough to add value. And if you're not thinking about adding value, you're not going to ever get to the point where you have enough to flow over to just add value naturally.
Yeah, and I think as I've gotten older, like I want to pour into people and I want people to pour into me. And it's kind of like, but when you're just trying to like take from somebody, like it's just like not the best way of looking at things. And I think it's also kind of like, when you look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like, when you're too busy focused on like do I have food? Do I have shelter? Do I have this? But you don't really have this, like, the last thing is like working on yourself. Because how can I work on myself? I'm trying to eat, like I'm trying to I'm just trying to make sure I have food on my table. And I think that was like a really painful process for me of kind of like trusting people and just like not seeing what could I get out of every situation, and then looking, like you said, as to like, how do I be a better Vanessa. And I think a lot of it was just like, I did some therapy. I, you know, really looked at like, what do I want my life to look like? Like, what are the things that, if I die, like, what do I want people to say at my eulogy? Like, oh, she, you know, she traveled, she saw the world, she, you know, that type of stuff. And I don't want people like, oh, she was stingy. And then, like, if you gave her, like, $5, she never paid you back. And then, like, you know, that type of stuff. Like, you know, just, like, who wants to be known for that?
Yeah. So you went to DC, and, you know, you went to grad school, and then you joined the Illuminati. And who are some of the most famous government officials that you've worked with?
Ooh.
So I can't disclose names.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like that's probably not a...
What I will say is I've been to some presidential palaces, and just being who I am, sometimes I would just bypass their security. And then they'd be like, oh, that's the American girl. Just let her go. And I'm like in one of these like presidential palaces, and I'm just like going back and forth doing whatever I wanted. And then like I was like, girl, could you imagine me at the White House just like walking past Secret Service? Like, it's like, oh, whatever. Like, I don't got time for y'all to be patting me down and doing all these things. I'm just going to do what I wanted. And I was like, oh, I guess I've arrived, where they're just like letting like the black American girl just run around their presidential palace.
Can we say country or no?
It is a Latin American country, but I have been in.
There we go. That's good enough for me. That satisfies me.
Yeah.
So,
Tropico.
hey, bro, I was playing that earlier today. So we've got into, you know, your childhood in East Oakland in Oklahoma, where you went to the university, you moved to DC, going to grad school, you got a job with the Illuminati, and then after all of these things, you had the audacity, after all these fucking accomplishments, to want to get married. Like, how you greedy motherfucker. See, that's that Oakland shit.
Oh, yeah.
What else can life give me? Oh, yeah, I want more from life. And you had the audacity to get married. Not only get married, but get married to an amazing man.
Yeah, some days. Like, you know, it's
Whoa. We will not have any husband slander here. Okay? So,
I mean, you know the honey-do list, right? Like,
honey-do list? What the hell is that?
like the list of things you want honey to do. And
wow.
and my honey doesn't like his list. He rejects the premise of the entire list. So we have to like negotiate that at times.
Okay, so we heard that you got married. So how did you and your husband meet? That's a good one, right?
So we have two stories.
One is the truth and one is his story.
No, what is the story that we tell to make people seem like it's so great? We both work in the same place.
Well, I want to know the lie. Tell me the good shit.
So one day I was in the work cafeteria, and my husband sees this beautiful black ebony queen, and he tapped me on the shoulder and was like, hey, would you like to sit at my table and talk to me and get to know me a little bit better? And I was like, wait, what office do you work in? Like, is this, do you want me to do a detail to your office? Are you interested in, like, do you need a comms person? Like, what is this? And he's like, no, you're just so beautiful, and I just want to stare in your eyes. I was like, oh, bro, you're a little weird. And,
those are the best ones.
Yeah, and then, you know, I was like, whatever. Like, you can buy this $12 salad that's gross. Like, you know, he's like, yeah, whatever. You know, come chill with me. And then, you know, he just kept asking me to come back. And that's just how we fell in love. But some would say we met on a dating app.
We don't care about those people. Those people are idiots. You know. Yeah. So you guys met in this beautiful cafeteria. This you know, Ivory King saw this ebony goddess, and you guys came together. And how many days, months, years, hours, seconds did it take for him to propose to you?
So we were engaged. So
What the fuck does that even mean?
we were
That's
also
some federal government code.
So we were also exclusive. So when you date
Saying it twice doesn't change it.
when you date an intellectual Ivy League man like myself, you start learning that there are new tiers to dating and being engaged. So when we first started dating, he said, "Do you want to be pre-exclusive, exclusive?" And I was like, "What is that?" He was like, "You can't see anyone else but me, but I'm not calling you my girlfriend." And I was like, "That sounds like I'm your girlfriend to me. Whatever you want to call it. Okay, fine. Whatever you need, bro." And maybe like a month later, he was like, "I'm ready to give you the title of my girlfriend." Then we dated for another 2 years, boyfriend, girlfriend. And then I moved in with him. And I thought we were going to move in and get engaged like 6 months later. And then everything was going to be great. And he was like, "We've only lived together for a year. What do you mean?" Like, you know, and
Smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man. Yeah, this guy's definitely Ivy League.
Yeah,
he
like-
gets it.
I got to live with you through all the seasons first to make sure.
I told somebody that. You guys, I haven't had many long relationships, but I literally told somebody that. I had to see how you act through all of the seasons to fucking know. Because like I said, I've had so many 1-year relationships, and that taught me.
It's a cold winter.
You gotta know what somebody's like during the spring and the winter.
Well, he already knew what I was like in the spring and winter, but he wanted to know how it was like living with me in the spring and the winter.
Yes, that's fucking totally different. That's something else I tell people. And like I said, I have no personal experience. Well, that's a lie. When I was young, though. But shout out my baby mama. But that's something I agree too. It's like you loving somebody and you living with somebody is two totally different things.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I was just kind of like, well, anyways, he was just like, "Oh, I didn't realize." This is a good example of communication and being a little bit more talkative, because had we talked a little bit more about what is your expectation versus my expectation, I think either we would have done things slower or we would have been more on the same page. But once we started having those conversations, I will always give my husband a shout out, because he was like, "Well, if you want to be married, there's some things I want us to work on as a couple, because there are some things about us that if we can't change, I don't know if like
This works.
Yeah. And so we put in the work to kind of like, what are things do you like about this relationship, and what are things you don't like about this relationship, and then how can we change them? And we even went to like a therapist, and we like did all of the like the silly stuff where they're like, "You're gonna go to Vanessa's island and you're gonna go to his island, and you know, like, now what is going on your island, Vanessa, today?" And I would be like, "It smells so great, like lavender, but his like his stinky stalks are like near it." And it's just like, you know, like stuff like that. And then but then you come up with a plan, right? Because usually whenever you're in a relationship, you're going through the motions and having the same fights over and over, but you don't come up with a solution of like, how do we move forward and how do we not have the same fight over and over again? Like, we need to get out of this loop.
Yeah.
And we learned from that, like, okay, you would leave the session and be like, okay, this is the next step that we're going to take. Like, you know,
an action plan.
Yeah. And then also it was interesting because like you would learn things like, what do you really like that he does for you? What do you like what she does for you? And then like he would be like, "I love when she cooks for me." And I was like, "I hate cooking." And then it was just like, "Yeah, but like you're decent at it, and like I like it. It makes me feel loved, you know." And you're just like, "Oh, I didn't know like my cooking made you feel loved, right?"
It's like, actually, I would cook more,
Yeah.
knowing that.
Yeah. And then so it's like one of those things when you're like, "Oh, this has like a whole different meaning to him than I thought it did." And then like
It was just like a woman task. It's like, oh, he thinks I'm just a woman, so I should be in the kitchen.
And then I told him, like, I really like it when I come home and, like, something's been cleaned. He was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, when I see, like, and to this day, when I wake up and all the dishes are done, it just, like, blows my mind. I'm just like, I went to bed and these dishes were in the sink. And then I wake up in the morning and there's nothing in the sink. And, like,
And that's the beautiful thing about it all, man. So you didn't answer the question, so I want you to answer the question. How long did it take for him to propose?
So we were together for... Okay. So... Okay,
it sounds like you're about to make up a lie.
We were engaged. So in 2023, we decided he told me he wanted a baby. And I said, I want a ring. And he said, let's do the baby first, then the ring. And I said, I want to be different because I don't want to be a statistic. I'm a black woman. It's very easy to be a baby mama. I want to be a wife. And he said, that's valid. You deserve that. So,
oh, see, I told you, great guy.
So,
the greatest.
The greatest.
The greatest.
So in 2023, we started looking at where are we going to have this wedding. Not engaged. So we found our wedding venue in Tulum before we were engaged. I had a wedding dress before we were engaged. We were not engaged until April of 2024, and we started dating in July of 2020. So it took him almost 4 years to officially ask me to marry him.
Okay. Now, let's get into the fun stuff.
Okay.
What is it like putting together a destination wedding? I'm glad you segued us to that. You had these people put on a destination wedding in Tulum. It was magical. I fucking went. I'm so happy I went. They flew my daughter out to sing. It was crazy. But tell the people, what was it like putting on a destination wedding?
Honey, would you like to answer that question?
It's your podcast, so.
Yeah, he's got to come and get on the mic if you want.
I would just say that you asked us, we both have like two different experiences.
I'm not asking him.
Okay. I low-key loved it because...
Low-key?
Okay, high-key.
Okay, there we go.
I'm a perfectionist, though, so I knew this was going to stress me out all the way. And I think everyone who knows me was prepared for this, except for my husband. And I'm telling you, wedding planning is marriage boot camp. Because you're over here looking at budgets, you're looking at family members, you're trying to incorporate everything, your value system. You're trying to do all these things like, what are your priorities? What are not your priorities? Who do we like? Who do we not like? How much money do we want to spend? Where do we want to spend the money? And again, I'm a black woman. Black women don't always get this opportunity to show like their love and get with this like extravagant ceremony and things like that. So I was like, if I do this, I want to do it right. And I just went ham. I went on Pinterest. I was like, oh, I want this. I want that. I would get fixated. I saw the color red and then I just like, I want my bridesmaids to wear red. Come to find out, red is not a great color for your bridesmaids because they overshadow you. So, it was for me creatively, it was great because you're getting to like play with all of these like aesthetics. Do I want a moody wedding? Do I want a boho wedding?
Yeah, I stole a fan.
Yeah.
Did you have to pay for that?
No.
Okay. Because I definitely stole one.
They were already bought.
Oh, okay. Well, you're good because I stole it. I brought it home. I was like, yeah, I'm taking something from this wedding with me.
Those fans actually... Okay, anyways, I'm going to live that. Because that was like one of those wedding discussions where someone thought they were frivolous. And then I was like, we need these fans.
It's in like I have a box with like keepsakes. That fan is in that box.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Yeah.
Well, and then like we've been to a lot of weddings together and we were just kind of like, if we're going to get all these people to go, because we take it very serious. Like we look at it as like, if you invite us to anything, 9 times out of 10, me and my husband are there because we feel that like, if you want me to be part of your special moment in life, that means that I must be a very special, valuable person to you. And we're there. Mm-hmm. And we were like, okay, when we have these people come across the country, fly, get passports and do all these things. Like we said, no kids. We said, leave your kids at home. Mm-hmm. So you got to find a sitter. You got to do this, that. Some people had to leave their partner at home because we were just like, I was like, I want to.
Yeah. My roommate had to leave his. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I was just like, I don't want you worried about. I was selfish. I was like, I don't want you worried about this baby. I want you having fun, getting lit, and celebrating me in my love story. And we said, if we're gonna ask this to people, we're about to make it an experience, right? We want people to feel like they had a vacation. We didn't want them to feel like, oh, I came to this wedding and it was boring and then I had to sit up here and that and this and that. And being that like we were blessed to have the means to kind of like put it all together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pay for the anybody who wanted to go that came to the wedding to go to the Mayan ruins and see what Mayan ruins, right? It was
yeah,
the Aztec.
yeah.
Mayan ruins. We saw Mayan pyramids. We saw cenotes. It was super cool. We ate after it. Like they took us to a little spot. Like in the middle of nowhere that served us up some decent food. Nice. Like it was dope. It was dope. You know, and like I said, that was part of the wedding. It's like if you want to go, let us know ahead of time. We're covering it. And I was like, I'm going to show up early. I showed up a day early to make sure that I could be there, because it's like, I'm not going to go to Mexico and not go see pyramids. Like if they're going to front the cost, I'm going to be there early and hop on that van.
Yeah, we were actually surprised that everyone pretty much took us up on it for the most part. And like, we were just really, it really was one of those moments where you're like, you just felt all the love and support, because you're just like, wow, people were really ride for us, because like
it was hella hot, hella humid. We were out there sweating, but we were happy that we were having this moment with Vanessa and her husband.
Nice.
Yeah, and like y'all, I would give it up to my husband, because like when we picked these places, like again, I was like, this is my day, my time, and he was like, we ain't going all the way over here and making people fly all the way halfway across the world for 2 days. He was like, people need to be able to get here in a few hours. Let's pick something that's not too far, not too expensive. Like, he cares about all these things. I would have been like,
the greatest.
Yes, because I was like, we can go to Spain. And then like, and it, you know, and like we can go into this like small village where everyone's got to ride a donkey or like a coyote or something up there. And like, he was like, we're not doing. He's like, you know, he told me, he's like, I will take you to Spain on our honeymoon if that's where you want to go, but we're not doing this with the wedding party, because we're not making people fly 10 hours for 2 days. And this is one of the reasons why I love him, because I'm all kind of like, sometimes I get very into like this big overall like vision of like, I just want things to be outlandish, and he's like, but these, we gotta think about the practical.
Yeah, see, the greatest.
So, and I will say there were a lot of moments where he like reined me in, where he was just kind of like, he was just like, you know, let's not put too many barriers up for where people can't come, you know, that type of thing. And I think it ended up being like this, it was just like piecemeal brought together. Like, I was on Pinterest, I was on Instagram. I never was that girl who was like, I know what my wedding's going to be. I didn't know, because like I wasn't ever supposed to get married. So I was just like, so then once we were like, oh, we're doing this, I was like, what do I want, you know? And then like, one thing about wedding planning, you don't really know what it's gonna look like until the day, like, because you know how like the florist doesn't like do all the flowers and show you it ahead of time. She just like,
yeah, you kind of show up and it's like, oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah. and then also we did all this in Mexico, like, and then like my wedding planner was crazy. So she was like, she had way too many weddings, and like basically she just like told me I needed to chill out, and it was like she wouldn't remember things that I said I wanted and things I wanted done and things like that. And again, I'm a perfectionist, so it's kind of like your energy right now is not giving what I need. And I almost fired her like 3 times, but Steven being practical was like, we already kind of paid her. And,
yeah.
And
good job.
And she's actually good at the end part, so let's just get to the end and then be done with it. So it all worked out. But like, the reason our DJ came in from the United States is because like she dropped the ball on finding a DJ. Like she sent us all these, like, she first sent us like this electronica guy, and I was like, I don't trust this. I don't want any electronic music. Send me more options. And then she was like, oh, they're just really great. Because I found out later, she always wanted us to work. I found this later, the wedding industry, they always want you to work with their connects, because that's how their industry like runs. Like, you wash my back, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So she always wants to deal with her people, and she would present things. Later you find out like, oh, you're just always presenting us with like
your options.
Yeah. Like one time for the tour, she wanted to do the Mayan tour for us, and I was like, girl, you could barely planning this wedding. I'm about to give you more business like put on you. And then she didn't even tell me it was her business. She was just like, oh, I know this company that can do Mayan tours. And then because I'm not stupid, I go look up the company, and then here it is, like her name is like, oh, and I was like,
the audacity.
Yes. And then she had the nerve to follow up and be like, oh, so you're doing the tour. And I was like, I don't even like what you're providing for this wedding. I'm not giving, you need to focus on the wedding. So and then, you know, also dealing in the destination wedding, you're dealing with a whole different culture, a whole different, like, we were like, we want contracts. And then at one point, like, everyone just was like, the invoice is the contract, you know, like, And then one point we were like, I don't even know why we fighting with these people, because if they take their money and they don't, what we gonna do? Like, like they're just gonna like, it's international. So it's like one of those things where like getting your money back is not the same as it is like if you're dealing with a U.S. business where you have like recourse through the courts. Like it's just gonna be like, it would cost us way more money to even figure out how do we even like sue these people than to just like walk away from it. And we again were blessed enough to be like, okay, if we lose a few $1,000s, is this the end of the world? You know, type of thing. And we at the end of it, we had to kind of look at it in those type of situations because like they were like, this is just how we do things, right?
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that. It's the way of life. It's not what you're used to.
Yeah, and then like also like, you know, like we had like the alcoholic popsicles, the mezcal popsicles, and then like
those popsicles had alcohol in them?
Yes.
Are you serious?
I think we had, yeah. They didn't tell you that?
No, I just thought it was hot. Shit.
Yeah. Like,
oh shit, they were delicious.
Yeah. Hope you didn't give any to Jada and the baby. Like, I heard he was upset because he wanted one, and then they were like,
"I'm glad y'all told Tiffany because I didn't know." Shit, I gave some to my daughter. I'm sure she got one.
Yo, I did the most. There was like, I literally had like a churro cart, and then I was just like, why? We have all these. We had wedding cake, popsicles, a churro cart. Mind you, there were like 40 people at this wedding. We did not need all that. We had tacos coming out in the night, like. But I had seen like this is how you do it, like, cause you know you go to a wedding and you're like a little drunk, a little tipsy. And you're like, I could do a little something right now. You know what I mean? Like you know how you're like I could do a little bit of like I could eat a little bit of like some fries or something. And I was like, these are how I would want to be treated if I was at a wedding. So I kind of like went with that perspective. Like my planner, she was like, it's tacky to give a glass of champagne at the ceremony. And I was like, no, it's not, because we're not doing nothing. We just sitting here waiting on you. So we might as well give people something to lubricate it just to kind of like get the party started.
You gotta get that lubrication.
Yeah.
I agree.
So.
Okay. So I got a question for you. What's something, because I know it has to be something because that's just how life works. What's something about your wedding that surprised you?
That surprised me. It was like that I actually enjoyed it. Like, no, for real. Because like knowing, so we had another wedding before this wedding, and I got the stomach flu, and it was also one of those things where I did it all myself, and having the stomach flu and having to like clean up everything at the end of the night and having to figure out like where does all this stuff go, like it was miserable. Like, at one point, my great husband, I was like, just throw the dress away. Who needs it? He was like, you're going to want your wedding dress for your, like, official legal marriage. He's like, I'm not just going to, like, throw it in the trash and keep moving. And, you know, but this is, like, where I was at mentally because I was just so drained and so tired. So I was just like, oh, I'm not going to enjoy this wedding because I'm going to be too stressed out about, like, it's everyone having fun. It's everything going how it's supposed to go, like this and that. But then I tell you, after we did our first dance, which we didn't practice in the dress or the heels, so we did not get it as it was supposed to be. But I was like, oh, let's party. And I was able to party, you know, and let go. And people were there was no like, oh, why aren't people dancing? People were dancing. People were having a good time. You know, we were in the middle of the jungle. It was a whole vibe. And I was like, this is what I wanted. That was the most surprising thing. And also it was like super hot.
No, it was super fucking hot and super fucking humid. I was like, bro, why didn't you tell us this? And she was like, I sent you guys a fucking website that told you all this shit. I'm like, no, why did you send it to the fucking group chat?
No. So I put everything and I communicate in the family group chat. Do y'all know people do not read group chats?
It's too many of y'all talking.
So
I literally come to the group chat and it'd be like 40 messages and I just scroll up and then I fucking close it.
So then you clear out your little like alert.
Yeah. I just scroll up and then I fucking close that shit. I might maybe read like the first two. I'm like, it's nothing about me.
Because you were one of the ones who called me like before you flew out. What do I wear? And I was just like, are you serious right now? I gotta wear a jacket. Like, is it was just...
I'm telling you, I was packing. I was like, so do I need to pack this or pack that? But she did not tell me it was going to be hella hot and humid. It was in fucking November. I'm like, it's nowhere in the North America it's going to be fucking hot and humid in November. Like that doesn't even fucking make sense. I got there, bro. It was fucking beaming. It was fucking steaming.
Well, mind you, we had went in February and it was actually decent weather, so we weren't expecting that either. Climate change is real, y'all. Let's just say
that wasn't climate change. You should have told us. So okay, so you told us what surprised you. I want to know this. Tell me something that went wrong that only you knew went wrong.
Steven rode with the guests to the wedding in the van, and it was supposed to arrive 2 hours ahead of everyone so we could take our like first look pictures, and he was supposed to like do his like bro photos and everything. But apparently like men take a while to get ready these days, and he missed his van and they left him. They just like, apparently also like in the United States when you pay for something you just be like, well, I guess I'm gonna pay a little bit more and you're gonna wait for me, right? They didn't work like that in Mexico. They were like, okay, bye, you're not ready, so I guess you ain't going.
Yeah, but we'll take the free money.
Yeah. And he rode with the guests, and I didn't even know this until like we're at the venue and there's no Steven, and the guests.
I actually caught wind of that scenario.
Yeah.
I didn't know the logistics of it, but I caught wind of Steven wasn't here yet, and there was something seriously wrong with that.
Yeah, and then you're just like, okay. And then we were just really behind on, like, I know weddings are always really behind, but like, I thought, again, coming from American culture, like your planner is supposed to be like, no, we're leaving this time, that. Like they were kind of just taking their cue from us. And as you saw, like I don't really, time to me is like flexible. It's a suggestion. And then like, and then, you know, when you're dealing with photographers and stuff, there's lighting, there's all these things you got to consider. And it's just kind of like, you also just want to be in the moment. So we were just like running really, really, really behind. So that means a lot of things got rushed, and then people got really flustered, and it's also hot. So it was just
and humid, and black women's hair does not care for humidity much.
And then so what happened was Steven arrived with all the guests, and he almost saw me in my dress before like the reveal. And then later I found out he actually did see me, and he just pretended like he hadn't seen me.
As he hold on, guys. I'm gonna give you guys some behind the scenes stuff, okay? The wedding in Tulum that we all showed up to was actually their second wedding. They were already fucking married. They already got legally married, had a ceremony, and this was the second. It wasn't that big of a fucking deal, okay?
Oh, I wish I would have realized this before I bought a $4,000 dress. That he was like, oh, it's okay. He was like, that other dress you wore for a legal wedding that was like $200. Oh, that was the dress. And I was just like,
he's a smart guy.
Yeah, I was just like
the greatest.
If anyone's in the
greatest.
If anyone needs a Martina Liliana 1510 bridal white dress, please hit me up, because
I might have to take you up on
she
that.
is for sale. I'm 5'3", so 5'5" with the heels I wore on the wedding day. So if there are any ladies getting married, you know, coming, hit me up, because she is on the market for sale. It's a beautiful dress. It's just one of those things where like, had I known what I know now, I probably could have, like, I just went over I think that's the one thing I realized was like, you were doing a lot. Like, cause like when I look around my wedding, I'm like, you have all of this stuff, you have this, you have that. I was like, you was really doing a lot to like.
Yeah. And about the wedding and doing a lot, I want to know, you know, as one of the people that set aside the time, and you know, my daughter's in college, and this is my first time knowing how to pay for college, and I'm not trying to get her college paid for and all this stuff, but still set aside a time. I said, this is my cousin. She's getting married. She's getting married in Mexico. I've never been to Mexico, so I get to go to Mexico. I get added that I get to go to Mexico for the first time ever, but I get to be there for my cousin's wedding, you know, and how much that meant to me, and setting aside the time, even with all of my newfound expenses of my daughter starting college, you know, 2 months before that, that I didn't even know I was going to have, that now I have. I wanted to be there for you. So I want to ask you, how did it feel to have your family show up in another country to celebrate your union?
It was beautiful. I will definitely say that I had some feelings, like when I'm someone who's very sensitive to like when you aren't there, and I feel very blessed when you are there. And to see that like our entire family came out and showed up, and like the people who weren't there really had legitimate reasons why they couldn't come. It wasn't like no one said, "Oh, I don't have the money." It was, it was everyone really. And and at the end of the day, I was like telling my husband, I was like, some people probably beg, borrow, and steal to come to this wedding. Like, I'm not ignorant. Like, I know that like somebody that people were probably like, "Oh, you got $200 till Friday," blah blah blah. Like, I know that was going on because like I just this is how it works. This is how life works. And I was just like, for people to go without to make all of that happen to show it for me, it was just a beautiful thing, and I felt very loved. And I definitely feel like when it comes to our family that like I always feel like I have a special place in like all of you guys like hearts, because I feel like, oh, it's Vanessa, she's like I've always been like the cousin from Oklahoma, like I'm always a little different, but it's always like that little thing that kind of make me feel special. And then also like to see you all come out. And then I realized, like, y'all always come out for me. My 21st birthday, everyone came to Vegas for me.
Yeah, we pull up. We pull up. I was there when you graduated.
Yeah.
You had me eating fucking Everclear fruit and shit. Yeah, like I said, we pull up for you. Like I said, we love you to death.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, I was like, my family rides for me, man. And we have this thing where we like do cousin nights every now and then we do cousin, we want all the cousin photos and all this type of thing. And it's just,
with the cousin trip to New York.
Yeah,
it was me, you, and Ronisha.
Yeah, and so for me, it was just a beautiful thing. And I was very happy that my husband's like friends were able to come. Some of his family couldn't come, and that made me feel like. This is where I'm very happy I'm married to a great person, because like when I tell you like I wanted to like X all of the people who couldn't come, and he was just like, people have lives, they have financial situations, they have like, he calmed me down and was like, maybe we just like don't excommunicate all the people because they couldn't fly across the country to a different country
in the middle of the year, at the end of the year, right before Christmas and shit.
So
like I bought a car right before I came to your wedding. Like people, like you said, we have some financial restraints. We had some life things going on. Like I said, daughter going to school. Like,
But when you're planning a wedding, you have to think about it. Like, you're shelling out so much money. You just feel like, I don't care what y'all got going on. You're not spending as much money as like whatever it is that we got going on. So you get very self-centered, because you're just like, but at the end of the day, like I said, like I'm not stupid, because like we helped some people come to that wedding, like the people, some people.
You paid for my daughter to get there.
Yeah, and then it was just kind of like, so we knew that it was a strain on
most people.
Yeah, and then like I had some people saying like, can you get married a year later so I can like plan for it, Apparently people thought I was pregnant because we got married in such a like.
So haste.
Yeah. I was like, so, yeah.
That's a good one. It's like, you guys get married fast. Oh, okay. Yeah. Don't want to have a bastard, huh? No, like, no, it's just, we're ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's wrap all of this up. We've done a lot of talkativeness. We've been here for almost 2 of them joints. So I want you to end it on this note. I want to ask you this last question, Vanessa. What's some advice you would give to young ladies out here trying to find a husband?
First, I would say don't try to find a husband. I would say try to live your best life, because when you're out here just like living the life you want, and the one like, and I'm not talking about the life you think you deserve to have, or the life you think it's acceptable for you. I'm talking about go out here and be like, if you want to become Beyonce, just go out and like do what you gotta do, sing, tour, whatever, and then like you're gonna meet the people who love and do the things you do, and that's how you meet people who are gonna attract like attracts like. So I love to travel, and then how I've met my husband, who he was like, oh, you seem like you've been to all these like places that are a little bit different, and that's what attracted me to him, and that's what made him like really take a look at me more seriously. So I think you really just got to be who you are authentically and live in that truth. And that's how you will attract someone who also wants to kind of walk the same kind of lifestyle you want and have the same kind of values you have, which will lead to a more successful and hopefully more enjoyable marriage.
That's beautiful, man. And I think a lot of people, don't let that go over your head. Those were fucking gems, okay? like she said, don't be out here living that Instagram lie. You know, live your truth. And when you live in your truth, other people that you like and that you fuck with and in the same pipeline as you, they will come to you. But you have to be willing to accept that love that's in the pocket of what you want. Because what I think is that a lot of women have a thought process about what they think that they want. So then what they actually need comes, it's not what they think that they want or what they think that they deserve. And then they miss the boat on something that was going to be, you know, stick to the bone stick.
Yeah, because I definitely, like, when I first started dating my husband, I didn't think anything of it. I think you actually we were in LA when we first started talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he was like, you were messaging me a lot. And I was just like, I was on a trip with my cousin. I was not messaging you a lot. Anyways, but yeah, you were there for the very beginning of our little love story. And I low-key was like, oh, he's just like some guy, you know, like he'll come and go. Mm-hmm. And then one day you look up and you're like, I'm doing all the things that I want. Like, this is the life. This fits perfectly into like what I want my life to be. Mm-hmm. And like, it's so far it's been more than I ever imagined, especially like he doesn't like to stay home, you know, and we don't I try to stay home as much as possible, but then when I'm out, I'm like, oh, we outside, this is so great. Like,
yeah, that's what you guys are out here, and you didn't just come in for the day. You guys been here for a few days, you know, so yeah, like you said, you're outside. But Vanessa, this is the What's Your Ness podcast Ciroc bottle. Oh. And we have all of our guests sign their names on this bottle.
Okay.
So we want to get your John Hancock on that joint. You know about John Hancock, right? Yeah, you work for the government.
Mm-hmm. I cannot confirm nor deny.
Yeah, wherever you want to put it.
And Alex, you got any things to say to the... Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that. We got you locked in. And we want to say thank you for coming. And as we do with all our guests, we're highly grateful for you being here and for coming. We wanted to make sure that we got you some Ness Culture product. And these are Ness Culture car air fresheners. This is our purple lavender. And this is our, you know, nude and brown vanilla car air fresheners. You know, throw that in your vehicles when you get back to DC.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to get out here and just kind of talk a little bit about my story. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I definitely say just be who you are so you can attract someone. And you want someone who likes you, right? Because like people be out here pretending.
Yeah, chasing.
Yeah. And then, bro, he don't even like you. He like some idea of you, and now you can't even be who you are because you didn't know it was...
You trying to warp yourself into what he wants.
Yeah, and like, what kind of life is that? Sorry, I'm just kind of like...
No, say it.
Yeah, the women out here, I think you just got to be you, and you will attract something that will that will work.
As my big brother says, like what likes you.
Yeah, well, I tried that too at one point, and that got a little...
it got messy?
Yeah, because sometimes people like something's like you that you should not like back. You should just be like, thank you. And,
thank you. I appreciate your admiration.
Yes, you have great taste, and just keep walking.
Spinny, do it.
Oh, me to do it?
No.
Oh, choose. Wait, Alex. What do the people need to choose?
Everybody out here, while you're out being super talkative, as you see my prima is, because we've been here for almost 2 fucking hours listening to her babble.
And I still got more relationship advice, ladies. Hit me up.
I want to say choose happiness, man. It's nothing wrong with a good conversation. Men, when you're out there, yeah, your girl talks a lot. Listen to her, man. When she's getting into her talkativeness, know that she's feeling comfortable enough to express these things to you. And she's choosing happiness by articulating all of these senseless, useless fucking things to you, okay? So listen to your woman when she's doing her talkativeness thing, and you listening to your woman in her moment of explaining things that you don't care about. In that moment, you're choosing happiness, okay? Because you don't want her to know that you don't care about that shit, because that will not be choosing happiness. You will not have a good time, buddy. Okay? So while everybody's out here being, expressing all of their talkativeness and talking about things that they care about and things that their mutual friends care about. Don't ever forget while you're doing that to grab those things that mean the most to you, talk about them, and choose happiness. Talking about the things that matter the most to you, your life, your story, as we heard my Prima story today, that's choosing happiness, because somebody else has lived a life similar to hers and doesn't even know that she's out here living the same type of life, and they're not alone. So from Ness Culture, Spinny, Alex Great, and the What's Your Ness podcast, always, always, always choose happiness.
Wow. Vanessa, thank you so much for being here. It was nice to meet you and hear your stories and talk the talkativeness, and maybe next time you'll come on to walk the walkativeness.
Okay, and remember, talkativeness also is, standing up for what you want and going out there and getting it.
Yeah.
And that's what I really mean when I say my Ness is my talkativeness. I speak it into existence and then I go out and get it.
Ooh, that's how you drop a bar at the end.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Hey, be sure to like and subscribe and do all that, and we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next time on What's Your Ness podcast.
All right, fuck this podcast shit. Y'all want to go see some strippers?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.